I just want to record a quick demonstration of the current export of the GeoModel to eToolbox, just to start the discussion and get some feedback from y'all. You can see here I have an example Gint project open. I've already filled in my general stratigraphy for the project with 6 different layers. So this is the general stratigraphy. And then for each test, we're going to go in and define what depth range each of these layers applies to. So, for example, if we're doing traditional borings with end values, we'd go to our soil component lithology tab, and I've hidden several of the columns here, but you can see from 0 to 6 feet, we're calling that layer 1, 6 to 10, layer 2, and 10 to 20, layer 3. And we would go through and do that for each of our borings. Similarly, if we're going to be working with CPTs, we'd go into our CPT tab, and then the CPT strata, and that's where we would define the depth ranges for CPT. This is all automated to validate the data and pre-populate the termination depth. And again, we would do that for each of our tests. So at that point, we are ready to export to an eToolbox file. We would go via the add-ins menu, export to eToolbox. The procedure detects that we have both end values and CPT data in this project, so it's going to ask us which we want to export. I'll demonstrate the end values first, and then we can select out of the tests that currently have end value data which we want to export. We'll do all of them in this case. So this window I think I posted earlier, and this includes a summary of all of the borings and the strata. So it says we're looking at these 4 tests. Stratum 1 gives you a summary for each of the tests as well as overall. It's a little bit crowded, but I did want, this is kind of a reference for the user as they're choosing their GeoModel. They can kind of help decide. So top depth, most of the time going to be 0. And then for stratum 2, you can see top depth is kind of a range there, so we'll call that 2, and then 10, and then 15, 20, whatever the case may be. So these depths are the depths that are going to be exported and used in our eToolbox calculation. So at this point, we just hit export to eToolbox, and it's asking us to go find the eToolbox file. I've already used this particular file, so there's project info. We're going to override that as well as the soil information currently in there. And we're going to open the file now. Okay, so it brings us to our soil input page. You can see it's pre-populated those depths I've entered as well as our raw end values. So similarly, let's just demonstrate the CPT version real quick. Also export to eToolbox. Let's choose CPT. We are going to choose all of our tests. And again, we've got to enter the depth ranges we want. And you can see here again the summary for the CPT data, averages, and for a lot of different parameters. Primary soil behavior type for both the stratum here, you can see stratum 5, primarily clay, and then for each of the tests as well. Export, again select our file. Okay, you can see just by the nature of CPT, we can populate a lot more of our files. So we can estimate our unit weight for each of these layers, whether the layer is cohesive or cohesionless, an average QT, a correlated elastic modulus, and a constrained modulus. So at this point, for CPT, we pretty much have all the data entered we need to, and we could start calculating outside of the loads and footing sizes. So this is a quick demo. Hopefully that's a place to get us some feedback and start moving forward. Thanks.